Do you know if you're operating as a family first business or a business first family? We're going to share more of my conversation with Jolene Brown, where she'll put some clarity around the concepts and why it's worth a look for your family and your business.
Describe a business first family for me so we can really understand exactly what that means.
To operate as a business first family, it does not demean the family. It does not say that the business is more important than you, my family, but what it says is we love and honor you so much, let's do it right. And when we do it right, then we have to make sure that we have all the way from the right type of structure to making sure people are being paid for their value and not for their genetics. And by the way, when you work for another business, you actually get paid. That's always interesting too, isn't it? In a family business, if there's money left, we're going to pay you, you know. Mm-hmm. So there's a whole different mindset. And I have 6 requirements before you even invite a family member into the business. And one of them is they've worked for a non-family boss for at least 2 to 3 years. There's about 30 lessons you learn, and moms and dads are not good teachers of these lessons. Yeah. But when they come back, then they come at a different level. They have more self-esteem, they have more respect for what they can do, and they bring value because they got to learn the good stuff and somebody else paid their tuition, and now they get to bring it back home. Nice. And yet I know all that moms and dad wants is we want the kids to come back to the farm. And I know the next generation, I want to go back to the farm. Well, don't shortchange that step. The lessons they learn when they work for a non-family boss consistently, this is not internships, this is not just during the summers, consistently is huge. And those lessons cannot be taught by parents.
I feel like the majority of farms are functioning in a family first mode. Yeah. And I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I'm seeing as well.
We're improving on that though, because the economics have made us that we had to operate. Our bankers, our lenders, our lawyers, our accountants are demanding that we have the paperwork, that we have the decision making that goes behind it. And this is where this junior partner generation can elevate everything that we have done in our business so far. We got to be pretty slapshod, we called it. You know, we got to do what we wanted to, and it was good enough. It's not good enough anymore. The documentation, the cash flow, the net worth, the budget, the business plan, this is all critical to make sure that when you're a structure, you operate as that structure, whether it be a corporation or an LLC or FLP or any type of partnerships along the way, that we operate as that. Well, the younger generation knows the value of that, and they often know what needs to be done. Sometimes we just got to get out of the way. And I will tell you, when I find sometimes the next best leaders of the business are not family members, and right now, I got 6 families that I work with where the daughter-in-law is leading the business. I had one daughter-in-law, and I said, you know, everybody knows you need to lead, and so do you. And she had every characteristic, personality, and credential that was needed to lead the business. She had proven her worth. And I said, if you do this, not only do you have to have a real strong mind, you have to have a real strong spine. And then I said to Dad, I said, do you know, by the way, she can fire you? She's going to decide how much you get to be paid. She's going to evaluate you. Are you willing to do this? They said yes. Now here's the fun part. The first week in the business, she made them $51,000.
Fantastic.
Any guesses how she did that? She fired the deadweight brother-in-law. And she said, and this is going to be the premise behind a business first family, unconditionally, as a family, we will love him. But as a business, there are conditions, and he is no longer working here because it is conditional.
You said something earlier, I just want to hook back in. When you're talking about the requirements of the accountants and the lenders and other participants that farms are having to work with, that it has to be a business first family. I think it's interesting because I've certainly heard resistance from people saying, they're making me do this and then I have to do this, when in fact it's a risk minimizer or mitigator. And it's actually in the farm's best interest. And really, by going that extra mile, it's going to really help them to get their business in shape. So it's just an interesting kind of pivot that how people perceive what they're being asked to do.
Well, and it all is in how it's approached. If it's the value that it brings the business versus the cost of the business. One thing I have found is when you help them find good advisors, that's a real important thing to do. They've got to find the good ones first. And then you must give those advisors permission to talk to each other on your behalf.
Agreed.
And one time, get them all same place, same time. You will save yourself a heck of a lot of money and a lot of frustration down the road. Because so many farmers or ranchers will go to the accountant and he'll say, well, in order to save tax, I think we should do this, this, and this. And then 2 weeks later, you go to the attorney and trying to tell the attorney what the accountant said, and you don't get it right, so you go home and you do absolutely nothing. But if they both sat there and you've had to meet with them first independently. You've got to give them the background. They're going to tell you what they need to have you bring to them so they can prepare. But when you will all get them same place, same time, oh my gosh, the value that comes out of that meeting is huge.
There's an exponential effect. I totally agree.
Synergy really happens.
You bet.
Yep.
If this message really resonated with you today, please give this video a like. I really want to encourage you to take the opportunity and do something about it. So take advantage of the resources. There's links below the video to make sure that you can really have a farm transition in which everybody's on the same page and the family and the business are well taken care of.